For this question, we want to find the volume of the composite solid. Now, the composite solid, remember, means that we have two figures and one. So in this problem, we have a cylinder and we have a sphere. But if you notice, we don't have a full sphere. We don't have anything on the top of this cylinder. The sphere only cuts into the cylinder, and you can tell that because of the dotted lines. So what that means is we don't have a full sphere, we have half of a sphere. So if we want to find the volume with taking that part of the sphere out, we're going to have to subtract. And I like to think of it as if you have a gallon of ice cream, you're taking a scooper and you're making that scoop into the ice cream. That's what it looks like. So think of that visually when you're thinking of the volume for this question. So what that means is we have our volume is equal to our cylinder minus our half sphere. So the first formula I'm going to talk about is the cylinder formula, and that's pi r squared times height. Plugging in our numbers, we have pi times 2 squared times 2. 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. So our volume of our cylinder is 8 pi. And for right now, I'm going to leave my volume of the cylinder in terms of pi. I'm not going to plug pi in until the very, very end. So let's go on to the sphere. Our sphere formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now be careful, this formula can be a little tricky. Not that it's hard, it's because people want to put a squared instead of a cubed. This is the only formula in all the ones that we've discussed that has a cubed instead of a squared. But remember, we talked about this sphere, and it's not a full sphere. It's a half sphere. So we're not going to use that formula. We have to use a formula where we have a 1/2 in front. So that's all we do. We multiply by 1/2 as well. So plugging in our radius, we get 1/2 times 4/3 times pi times 2 cubed. Now 2 cubed is 8, and 8 times 4/3 is going to give us 32/3 times pi times our 1/2. Simplifying, 32 over 6, once we multiply the numerators and the denominators, we're going to get a volume for the sphere of 16/3 pi. Now that we have the two volumes for our figure, we can go ahead and subtract them. We have our cylinder minus our half sphere. Changing the 8 pi to be in common terms for our fractions, to be able to subtract them, we need that common denominator. So I multiply 8 by 3 and also the denominator of 1 for the 8 by 3. So 24 minus 16 will give us 8, and our denominator is 3. So our volume is 8/3 pi. Now I'm going to plug 8/3 in parentheses in my calculator and multiply by pi. And we get 8.38 inches cubed.